A very good morning to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on Saturday morning. It's match day. Match day this afternoon. Again, we're back on a Saturday game. Isn't that nice? After having quite a number of midweek games or Monday games and Tuesday games, we're back to playing football on a Saturday afternoon. And of course, this afternoon, we host Brighton at the London Staidum. And we go in the hope that we can build on the recent performance away at Bournemouth, where we got ourselves a creditable 1-1 draw away from home. Whereas Brighton go into this game hoping that they can get their league form back because they haven't won since beating Bournemouth at the tail end of November. So they've got a lot to play for as well. If you're new to this channel, or if you've watched this channel before and yet to become a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. And whether you're new, passing through, or an existing subscriber, please hit the like on the like button as well, because that helps the channel to grow. So Brighton have gone 4 league games without a win. Their form over the last 5 games has seen them win 1. That was Bournemouth, as I mentioned. They've drawn 2, and they've had 2 defeats as well. And they sit currently 9th position in the league with 24 points. Now, dependent on results around them, a win over West Ham United this afternoon can elevate them to 6th in the league. West Ham, on the other hand, seem to be perpetually stuck in 14th place. Now, we currently have 19 points, and ironically, a win over Brighton will take us to within 2 points of them, but we will stay in 14th position. And that kind of shows just how tight the Premier League is in the middle of the table this season. Going into this game, 6 points separate us from 6th placed Bournemouth, and 7 points separate us from the relegation zone, with Ipswich in 18th position on 12 points. Both teams, West Ham United and Brighton, need a win for very different reasons, and it could become quite an intriguing and interesting match this afternoon. Brighton are managed by the youngest manager in the Premier League history, 31-year-old Fabian Hürzeler, and he will welcome back Joel Veltman and Matt O'Reilly to the squad, but they will be without veteran striker Danny Welbeck due to injury. Veltman is quite likely, almost definitely, going to replace Tariq Lamptey in the right back position, whereas midfielder O'Reilly is likely to take his place on the subs bench. Now, Brighton have always had a knack for finding some fantastic talent who they manage to then nurture and sell for huge profits. And it doesn't really have a major impact on the quality of their squad, on their ability to progress in the league, or their style of football. In fact, their style of football seems to be improving every time they replace their head coach. Now, despite their recent run without a win, they're still aiming they're still targeting to finish in a European place come the end of this season. Hürzeler is an exciting young coach, and he has gotten Brighton to play some very attractive football this season, and he's kind of easily picked up from his predecessor, Roberto De Zerbi. Now, if there are a number of things that Brighton are not really worried about, it's the hiring of young managers or young head coaches who have little or no Premier League experience, as well as I've mentioned, bringing in young talents from around the world who are given a Premier League platform to prove their ability and their worth. And over the past few years, Brighton have just gone from strength to strength. We often talk about Brighton being a blueprint for what West Ham United should be as a club, but it's evident that we're far more risk-averse than Brighton ever will be. Hürzeler will adapt his formation and tactics according to the opposition that they play. He's used 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, and a unique 4-2-2 formation over time. Now, they have an interesting approach where their front 2 men will often drop almost into midfield roles to go alongside 2 wide men. So they kind of form a 4-man block in front of opposition defenses. And that makes opposition defenders difficult to get the ball out of defense. And it's going to be it's going to be difficult for our West Ham defenders because we quite easily give the ball away. If you noticed in the game against Bournemouth, we were giving the ball away quite easily, not only in defence, but also in midfield as well. So we're going to have to be extra sharp with our ball distribution from the back on Saturday. Brighton also used their wide players to great effect, and left-sided wide player Kaoru Mitoma has been exceptional for Brighton over the past few seasons. He's currently their highest midfield goal scorer with 3 goals and 2 assists this season. Also in midfield, they've got a bit of a powerhouse in Carlos Paleba. He's impressed me quite immensely, and we would do quite well to manage to keep him quiet in central midfield on Saturday afternoon. But Danny Welbeck is the player that they are going to miss up front. Currently, he's their highest goal scorer with 6 goals so far this season. So they're going to have a bigger reliance on their Brazilian striker, João Pedro, who's got 4 goals this season already. Now, Brighton's record against West Ham United at the London Staidum is good. Well, actually, it's extremely good. They've never lost against us at the London Staidum. In 8 visits, they've won 3 and they've drawn 5. In the Premier League overall, we've played each other 14 times and we've won just the once when we beat them 3-1 away from home at the beginning of the 23-24 season. Tough game this afternoon? Well, I'm sure it's going to be. So what of West Ham and the team news? Well, West Ham will welcome back Emerson after his 1-game suspension, but we will be without Carlos Soler, as he now serves a 1-game suspension for having picked up 5 yellow cards as well. So there will be imposed changes on Lopetegui, and I think he will indeed make 2, possibly 3, to accommodate the return of Emerson and accommodate the loss of Soler, and maybe he'll do something different up front. So at the back, there'll be Fabianski in goal. I will be surprised if we will see the return of Todibo. And I would also be surprised if we see Soufal retain his place in the starting lineup. I think he did okay against Bournemouth. I don't think he had an exceptional game. I think, to be quite honest with you, when he lines up against speedier, pacier, attacking players on the wing, he will struggle. And with winger Mitoma being on that side, on his side of the defensive line, I think for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka will do a much better job in in trying to contain Mitoma rather than Soufal will. Look, Soufal, he plays with his heart on his sleeve. You know, we all know what he gives. But when it comes to agility and ability, I think it's beginning to lack, with the greatest of respect to him. So the rest of the defense will be Wan-Bissaka, as I've said, at right back. Mavropanos, I think, will retain his place alongside Kilman, and Emerson will return on the left side of defence. Now, with regards to midfield, I think Lucas Paqueta will move in from the right. That's where he started against Bournemouth last Monday, and he will replace Soler in almost a like-for-like position, with Souček and Alvarez retaining their places. And up front, for me, I would rather see the front 3 of Kudus in his favoured position on the right, the return of Summerville on the left side, and the retainment of Bowen up front. For me, I think this is the attacking lineup that could possibly do quite a lot of damage against most Premier League teams if they're given a chance to flourish. I think they've got huge potential, this front 3. They offer pace, they offer agility, they offer a lot of skill. And with the likes of Paqueta and other midfielders being creative behind them, I think these 3 could actually really, really flourish. And I want to see this develop. We've only seen this happen once so far this season with the front 3 of Kudus, Bowen and Summerville, and that was against Wolves. And I kind of was hoping that they would have been retained for the Bournemouth game, but Lopetegui changed it. Now, whilst I accept that the likes of Nicholas Füllkrug could offer a different dimension, I still want to see that front lineup. And that's the other position that we could see a change in. So instead of Summerville coming back into the team, you might Lopetegui may keep Kudus out on the left. He may then return Bowen on the right, and maybe he'll put Fulkrug in from the starting lineup. I'm not so sure that will happen. I think Fulkrug as an impact sub could be really, really useful. So for me, I'm kind of hoping that this is the lineup we'll see. Like I said, Fabianski in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman, and Emerson in defence. Souček, Alvarez, and Paqueta in midfield, with Kudus on the right, Summerville on the left, and Bowen up front. Either way, whatever team is lining up, we should take a lot of courage from the game, the performance that we put in against Bournemouth at the week last Monday. And we can go into this game. If we win this game, that'll be 7 points from 9, 7 points from 3 games. And that allows us to go into the Southampton game on Boxing Day with more assurance and more confidence to go and get another win. It could end up being quite a reasonable December for West Ham United if we get the win that we're hoping for this afternoon against Brighton. Prediction, I hate predictions, but I guess what I'm going to go for is a confident 3-1 win over Brighton to prolong their agony of not winning a game in the Premier League over recent games, but to give us the platform to go and perform even better against Southampton on Boxing Day. 3-1 win for West Ham. Do leave your comments. Do leave your predictions as well. And like I say, if you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button. And whether you're new or not, please do hit the like button, as it will elevate the channel somewhat. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And, well, I'll be back after the Brighton game with a brief review. So do watch out for that, and see you all later.